One of the island's most successful businessmen struggles with collecting debt owed to his company. That's our top story in our Barbados Today morning news update for Friday, December the 15th. I'm Emmanuel Joseph. Thanks for joining us. In what can be described as a sign of the economic times, one of the island's most successful businessmen has revealed that he is struggling to collect debts owed to his companies by the private sector. In fact, Chairman of Williams Industries, Inc., Ralph Busy Williams, said those who owe simply will not pay unless they are forced to do so. Williams did not say how he has been forcing payment from his debtors.
Our receivables have become extremely difficult to collect as our major trading partners adopt positions that they will not pay us unless forced to do so. I've never been in a court of law in Barbados except for speeding, and I do not wish or look forward to ever having to do that. But unfortunately, there are people who somehow they have come to the conclusion that they cannot pay people for materials received and for services provided, and expect to get away with it. And I'm not talking about the government here alone, I'm talking about the private sector. Many private sector people, big companies that should know better.
The independent crime-fighting charity Crime Stoppers Barbados is challenging Minister of Education Ronald Jones to reconsider his position on metal detectors in secondary schools here as a means of curbing the worrying levels of violence involving weapons. Jones has dismissed the idea of such security checks despite what the teachers' unions say is a troubling rise in student-on-student and student-on-teacher violence. However, Crime Stoppers Chairman Ora Reid told journalists at a news conference yesterday at the Southern Palms Hotel in St. Lawrence Gap, Christchurch, that given the frequency and gravity of the violent acts at schools, it would be foolhardy to discount the use of technology in ensuring the safety of students and the staff.
If you come into the library at Capefield campus, there's a detector that reminds you when you're leaving with a book that has not been processed. And that has been there from the 1990s. So this is nothing new. These devices are at entrances on Broad Street, on Swan Street, at institutions in Barbados. And all we are saying is that if you have an environment where you care about the people who occupy the space, whether those persons are members of staff or if those persons are students, 1,000 students, every effort ought to be made to ensure, A, that you have an adequate number of security persons at your entrance, and that whatever technology can be engaged to assist with the safety of those persons, that we engage in.
More tests are being carried out on the south coast to determine the extent of breaches in the sewage network. General Manager of the Barbados Water Authority, Keith Roy Halliday, says initial tests earlier this week have confirmed its diagnosis that breaches are responsible for the ongoing offensive sewage overflows.
We injected dye into the effluent chamber, which is the sewage that is coming out after being treated, and within 5 minutes we saw that it appeared on the influent side in the bird sanctuary area. So the exact area that we identified that there seemed to have been a possible breach, we were able to confirm that through that simple test that that is in fact the case. And this is a preparatory test for us setting up what will in fact be the bypass. So during the course of the day and yesterday, we've been doing some other dye tests to see whether or not that the problem has been extended beyond or extends beyond that particular locale.
In sports now, West Indies players will be offered more flexible and enhanced contracts, including exclusive returners for Test and limited overs cricket. That's according to a new Cricket West Indies policy. Now, the highest paid category will be for players who feature in Tests and ODIs, with a maximum retainer of over US $300,000, including match fees. The four-man selection panel, led by Courtney Brown, has shortlisted players for every category, which is expected to be made public soon. The new contract policy is one of Cricket West Indies CEO Johnny Graves' visions for the board, along with previously announced amnesty. Now, the policy has 3 levels and will initially last for 9 months. The new contracts will be offered on July the 1st, 2018, at the same time as the domestic returner contracts. The contracts have been split into 3 categories. Category A will comprise players who play predominantly tests and ODIs. Category B will be for only test players, while Category C will cover players featuring in only ODIs and T20s. It's understood that 6 players have been offered first batch of white ball contracts in Category C: Carlos Brathwaite, Jason Mohammed, Evan Lewis, Roman Powell, Ashley Nurse, and Kesrick Williams.
There's regional and international news after this short break.
Be careful not to become distracted when laden down with bags, as this makes you an easy target. Ensure that your handbags or wallet is secure and keep your mobile phone out of sight. Resist the urge to broadcast that you are not going to be home. When the festivities are over, recycle your garbage and don't leave boxes in plain sight, for burglars will be on the lookout for top-of-the-range equipment worth breaking in for. Call 417-7233.
G4S, securing your world.
Welcome back with news from the region now. Bermuda's Senate has voted to ban same-sex marriage only a few months after the country's Supreme Court legalized it. After a change of government, the island's Senate approved the Domestic Partnership Act, which revokes the right for 2 people of the same sex to get married. The House of the Assembly approved it last Friday, and the law will now be signed into effect by the island's governor. Senate Leader Kathy Simmons said the bill reflected the majority sentiment. In more regional news, angry residents of West Negril in Jamaica have taken to the streets and burning debris, calling for justice following the deaths of 2 men from the community who were electrocuted by a live wire hanging from a pole owned by the Jamaica Public Service as they rode a motorcycle. The JPS has apologized for the deaths and promised to restore electricity to the area once its teams are able to gain access there.
The residents and family of the young men who were electrocuted when they came in contact with an electric wire in the Westland Mountain community of Negril say they will not rest until they get justice. The young men, 21-year-old O'Shane Powell and his cousin Ronald Johnson, died after a live wire fell on a motorbike they were driving on Tuesday. The residents blame the Light and Power Company, the Jamaica Public Service, JPS, for the deaths.
I feel like me go mad. They kill me innocent brother, my little brother. Oh, man.
Following the incident, residents blocked about 8 miles of the West End roadway with trees and also set fire to debris they threw into the road, halting the flow of traffic.
My friend then dead, JPS light wire we are calling from 1 week straight, and the light wire cut down panto, our best friend them, kill them, no people don't go and look.
The residents are also upset because they have been forced to be without electricity since Monday, and although JPS went to the area late Tuesday evening, the residents are still without power.
And on the international scene, a homeless man picked up the equivalent of Barbados $700,000 in cash after wandering into a storage depot that had been left unlocked at the Paris's main airport. The man, believed to be around 50 years old, was going through bins near a terminal at the airport when he pushed against a door which had not been closed properly. Security camera footage shows the man entering the building belonging to the security company Loomis and emerging with 2 bags full of cash. Police are now seeking the man, who they say was among scores of people who live by scavenging around in Charles de Gaulle Airport. Well, that's news and the sports, but for the very latest, visit our website at www.barbadostoday.bb. You can also subscribe to our e-paper email updates or like us on Facebook. We are also on Izumi Media in bus terminals, as well as screenplay at supermarkets and gas stations near you. You can also hear us on Mix 96.9 FM. I'm Emmanuel Joseph. Have a fantastic day.